Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today's date is April 16th, 2015, and my name is Leslie Williams. I live in La Jolla, California. I have only left San Diego County since I have arrived in San Diego County since August 8, 2011. I came to San Diego on August 8, 2011. I have been in San Diego County every single day and night, every single 24-hour calendar day period from that date up to this date, which is April 16, 2015, except for 1 week when I left La Jolla to go to Yucca Valley and then came back. Outside of that, I have never been anywhere. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because yesterday I noticed at the law library where I'm gang stalked on a feverish scale, and I am predicting right now that an event's going to occur on any floor at the law library, where the computer lab is, where people go and sit and use their computers at, by the desk, bathroom, any floor. Okay, because they either got 4 or 5 floors to that law library. If anything happens concerning me, about me, around me, towards me, or against me, including the theft or damage of any of my property, including me being banned, arrested, complained about, accused of anything, it'll be directly connected to organized stalking, because one of the main methodologies in gang stalking is to ban a target from places that they're using the computer at to research crimes, to research lawyers and law firms, activist groups, and to use the internet to expose what's happening to them, and to look up laws that are being broke as a result of the crimes that are occurring towards them as a result of being a target of gang stalking. Now, the law library downtown in San Diego, gang stalking is a type of a crime. It's not stalking by gangs. You can go to YouTube and type in gang stalking bullying on steroids, and you can research gang stalking at Google and YouTube. In order to be able to deduce that gang stalking has been acknowledged by the public as a result of it being featured on local news broadcasts, national radio shows, national TV shows, and the fact that targeted individuals are exposing what's happening to them all over the internet, and independent journalists have as well. In fact, this crime has been covered on Coast to Coast AM. It's been covered on Ground Zero show with Clyde Lewis, which I've even actually been on that show. I've called it up when they were one show I called up when they were actually featuring gang stalking, and then on another couple shows I called up, one particular other show I called up and said that I'm a victim of gang stalking. But the point being, I've been on this show at least 4 or 5 times. The point being, though, fellow American citizens, is that what I'm trying to expose, I got hundreds of videos all over the internet and in different YouTube accounts. So when you research, like if you go to Google, if you went to Google right now and typed in learning disabled woman brutally assaulted on an MTS bus, and then hit the space bar on your keyboard, then type in MTS assault space YouTube channel, you'll be able to come up with that YouTube channel right away. You can also go to Google and type in learning disabled woman exposes gang stalking space exposing San Diego YouTube channel. I also, and right now I'm just going to name the YouTube channels that you can type in at Google, and then just keyword in as well, learning disabled woman being gang stalked. They are as follows, but not limited to: exposing police 1, exposing SDPD 3, exposing SDPD 1, exposing SDPD, exposing San Diego, gang stalking activist. Now, in each one of these YouTube channels, there's hundreds and hundreds of videos showing me exposing what has been criminally happening towards me creatively, overtly, and at times directly along all my routes every day since I've been back in San Diego since August 8, 2011. Now, let me just take a puff off my cigarette because I'm taking a break here. Now, I'm going to interject a notation right now that needs to be interjected for the sake of... I'll basically state why I'm stating it in a second. You see me right now in the mouth of a tent. And the only reason why this tent is up is because I got a really bad cold. It's starting to now break up. I have moments during the day to where I feel okay. You know, I'm starting to feel okay, and then an hour or two later I start to feel like complete hell again. So that's how I woke up this morning. I did not know if this was going to be a day to where I was going to have intermittent breaks concerning it letting up a little bit. So I decided to keep it up, and I got outside of my tent once I started feeling good and taking care of some housekeeping. Okay. And but only about anywhere, no more than 4 or 5 times out of 100 times is my tent kept up within an hour after I wake up. In other words, this tent is taken down within an hour after I wake up. I mean, I'm predicting right now that the way they're going, because they're going to want to arrest me for illegal lodging. This is organized crime in a system at the federal, state, and local level. It's a syndicate. If anybody approaches me at this area in the next 72 hours from this little second forward, it'll be gang stalking. No matter who it is, how they act, or what transpires, or what results. In fact, for the next 2 weeks. And today's date is April 16, 2015. Now, hold on a second. I hate smoking when I'm making a video. As you can tell, you might be able to tell, I don't have any upper teeth. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I can look you straight in the eye and tell you this. The little individuals who were participating in the gang stalking of me in Michigan literally came to where I was living at in Michigan and stole my dentures within a week and a half after me buying them. That's a true story, and I can look you straight in the eye and tell you this. Hold on. Now, excuse me. Anyways, so if I'm looking a little run down, you know, it's because, well, right now I'm taking care of, I'm budgeting every penny that I have because I'm being reviewed right now through Social Security. I'm being gang stalked inside of Social Security here in San Diego, in social services, along all my routes, every business I go to, every university, every library, post office, bank, grocery stores, movie theaters, transportation services, and here's another prediction. Hold on a second. You'll understand why this video is being made in its entirety if you just be patient with me for a second, okay? Hold on. Now, excuse me. Now, this prediction is I'm going to make probably more than just this prediction as well. Hold on. If I am assaulted at any bus stop, on any bus route, on any date, especially in the next 60 days, it'll be directly connected to organized stalking. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm talking about any transportation services in the state of California. MTS, there's another one that's dedicated to the North County transit system, and this includes any bus stop, no matter where the bus stop's at. Period. Absolutely. If I'm arrested for illegal lodging or assaulted or any of my at where I'm hiking at, which means any hiking area, and if any of my property's stolen, it'll be directly connected to gang stalking, and that includes property that I carry with me on every day and the property that I have hidden at hiking areas, including my bike, including the theft of it, the damage of it, or the damage to the lock. Now, and the bike prediction stands for anywhere the bike is at. Okay. Now, I've been assaulted now, brutally assaulted 5 times in San Diego, and every single one of those assaults have been predicted. And to see that I tell you the truth concerning me being able to predict the assaults that are occurring towards me, hold on. Go to YouTube and type in learning disabled woman brutally assaulted on an MTS bus. Okay? And that's me being assaulted on an MTS bus by an individual who had harassed me with gang stalking sensitization methods on numerous prior occasions on that same bus route and 5 minutes before the assault occurred. Alright, now go to the description of what is, you know, the description, the text that's put in the description of that YouTube video. Read all of it, but then scroll down towards the bottom of it and you'll see a blog URL link. Click on it with a mouse or whatever. And then, open it up and then read the blog and then scroll down towards the bottom of it and you'll see a small itty-bitty attached PDF link titled Assault 11. Click on that. And basically what that is it's a printed out scanned email showing that I predicted that assault 11 days before it occurred and where it would happen at. And then also once you bring that up and read it, and then make sure you look at the date, then continue to scroll within that same PDF link because you'll see documentation from MTS acknowledging that the assault did take place on October 10th, 2011, 11 days after that email was made on September 29th, 2011. Now, I can look you straight in the eye and tell you for a fact that the other 4 assaults were predicted as well. Okay? 1 in video, all 4 were predicted in audio. All 5 were predicted in audio. 1 was predicted in video, all 5 in audio, 1 in an email file, and So that's pretty much basically it. So before they occurred, before I reached the environments where the assault took place at. Now, I don't know about you, but logic and probabilities and statistical analysis, anybody would be able to deliberate using these modes of deductions, that there's no way that this could be happening unless it was being covertly managed and directly executed and then covered up and lied about. And by the way, the police report concerning that MTS assault has got lies in it and facts are omitted. Now, the reason why I made this video is I'm here today to tell you that you can go to Google. It's an information video. It's also a prediction video, and it's an update video. You can go to Google right now and you can research how they create homelessness of targeted individuals. It's all over the internet. In fact, all you got to do right now is go to Google and type in gang stalking space creating homelessness of targets. Okay? When you hit enter, look at how many Google generated numeric responses come up just to that one description. Then pay attention to all of the information that comes up and the different websites and then the different pages of the websites that come up. And you'll, in your face, be able to see within 2 hours, indisputably, you will conclude, even just with common sense, that creating the homelessness of a targeted individual is one of their main methodologies. Absolutely. Now, I know how the homelessness was created of me. Excuse me. Sorry. In fact, hold on a second. I'm going to get something out. Hold on. What I got right here is something that I printed out again. You can go to Google right now and type in Leslie Williams, Connecticut gang stalking, Hartford Courant. That's a newspaper. Courant is spelled Courant. Then when you get down, when you bring that up, you want to click on it in order to open it up. I'm going to put on my glasses. Hold on a second. Now, I printed this out yesterday at the law library, and this is what it basically says. There's a bunch of different victims on this talking about gang stalking, and including me. Now, when you go to this, what you're going to discover. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. I'm going to show it to you on the video camera, but I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it because I did not adjust the lens to take video pictures and text. So let's see if you can see it okay. Now here it is right here. There's my name. When you bring it up, you'll be able to see it. It says 4 years ago is when this was published. Now this flat out states right here that I'm stating that I'm being gang stalked in Connecticut, in Stamford, Connecticut. Okay? Including at a homeless shelter. Okay? Now, the point being is that this was made in Connecticut. It literally shows 4 years ago it was when it was made. Now, I didn't arrive here until August 8, 2011. Okay? And today's date is April 16, 2015. Okay? Now, the point being is that how can I be talking about being gang stalked in Stamford, Connecticut, and make comments about it on I guess it was the newspaper, some type of newspaper or something. I forget what the article was officially originally about. It might I don't even. It's Hartford Courant. I think that's one of community-powered support for Hartford Courant. Okay, Leslie Williams gang stalking, Hartford Courant, and then you can also probably type in Stamford, Connecticut at Google, and you'll see it. And then read the text. Now, interstate stalking is a federal crime. Right now in my possession, I have over 500 audio files proving. I'm sorry. Hold on. Right now in my physical possession, I have over 1,000 audio files. 1,000 audio files of the same exact identical verbal harassment happening around me every day, everywhere I go. Now, I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, in the same exact identical way everywhere I go. Now, you can go to Google right now and type in gang stalking, repeating words and phrases, sensitization methods, or sensitization methods and repeating sounds, repeating words and phrases. What else do they repeat? Well, they'll constantly, like if they if they have you, their sensitization methods. And if they have you sensitized to, they can also sensitize you to colors, sounds, words, phrases, physical gestures. Go to YouTube right now and type in "Learning Disabled Woman Catches Gang Stalker Admitting Sent to Harass." Read comments. Let me check the battery real fast. Okay. Now, that was me catching 3 teenagers admitting they were put on the bus route that I was assaulted on January 28th, 2012. After I was already on the bus, they were put on the bus at a different bus stop right up the street from the San Diego Eastern Division Police Department. That's when they were put on the bus, and then they gaslighted me with these physical gestures, and then I believe they got off the bus at Walmart Stonecrest Plaza. Now, they were caught later that night because they ended up being on the same bus route when I got on it that night to come back home. And when I noticed that they were getting off the bus when I got off, I confronted them and asked them. Okay? Now, and they admitted it. They didn't know I was wearing a tape recorder. And I was. So, what I'm going to do in a minute here is I'm going to literally start 2 Instagram videos, which are nothing but audios, of me being harassed in 2 separate locations, 160 miles apart, 11 months apart. And basically, when I was talking to you about how you can go to Google and you can type in sensitization methods and gang stalking, repeating words and phrases, repeating physical gestures, repeating sounds. They will also sensitize you to specific types of persons, like punks. That's what they're doing with me. That's another thing they're doing with me. They'll also sensitize you to specific colors, sounds, people, even places. As crazy as all this sounds, I did not invent their methods. What I'm doing is describing them. And if you research what I state, you'll see that I'm not the only one describing them. There's thousands of people all over the internet describing the same exact identical sensitization techniques happening towards them. Now, them getting along all my routes and repeating gang stalk, oh my god, gang stalk weird, gang stalk suck my dick, excuse my language, crazy, weird, gang stalking, gang stalker, gang stalk, oh my god. Everywhere I go, every single day, literally almost well, I've been gang stalked from the second I got off the Greyhound bus because I noticed it right away, okay? The point being, though, is that I don't remember what month. I know that they were already repeating gang stalk around me by no later than early 2012. Okay, but I was being subject to the physical gestures in 2011. Okay, now, and they were also getting around me and saying, "Oh my God," and "crazy" in 2011. Now, to prove it to you, let me just have you here listen to this. I'm going to play that again, and it's not like 100% totally clear, but I think it's clear enough for you to honestly be able to hear it if you're honest with yourself. What these 2 men are doing is they're saying, "Be nice," then one goes gang stalk, then he goes, they both go gang stalk together. They both said it together. Then one says gang stalking, and then that same one says gang of stalking, I'm going to fuck you up. Just listen. Hold on. This occurred on Thanksgiving Day, 2013. It was either November 27th or 28th, This occurred on November 28th, 2013. Now, what you're about to hear right now is me being on a bus in Yucca Valley, California, on December 20. I think it was December 11th, 2012. Yeah. All right. I'm going to start it over again. Hang on a second. This occurred on a Yucca Valley bus route in Yucca Valley, California, on December 11th, 2012. Do you hear individuals? They say, "Oh my God," but I don't know if you're going to clearly be able to hear that. One guy says gang stalk, and then a woman just flat out says gang stalk. Just listen. All right, let me play it again. Okay, now, I have over 1,000 audio files of individuals getting around me and repeating these words and phrases. Now, you might think to yourself, well, why don't I just ignore them? Well, see, in gang stalking sensitization methods, you can go to Google right now and type, you don't even have to type in sensitization methods to gang stalking. You can just type in sensitization in order to realize, go to Google and type in psychology space sensitization and research what comes up concerning that, so you can educate yourself concerning what sensitization is, and then so you can have the actual educated knowledge of what it is. Sensitization is basically is something that is realized in psychology, because it can literally even be considered hold on. Because it produces anxiety, and it can produce anxiety disorders. Okay? It's basically where they make you sensitive to a stimuli. And a stimuli is basically something that stimulates a mental and or emotional response. Okay? So, and they know it. Now, I have read it probably at least, I have seen online, I've only read probably about 30 or 40, but I've seen hundreds of targeted individuals' blogs that are titled Gang Stalking Psychological Operations, because their whole goal is to mentally harass you. It's psychological violence, psychological battering, psychological harassment, and including menticide, techniques that are designed to make you feel mentally raped. I've even read targeted individuals' blogs that you can type in at Google right now, Gang Stalking Menticide. Just do it. You'll see I'm telling you the truth. All you gotta do is do it. So basically, it's a clever way to make you feel stalked, to make you notice it every day by sensitizing you to certain things, certain words, phrases, physical gestures, sounds, colors, even certain types of people. Like, they'll sensitize you to punks after, like, if you've been assaulted 3 or 4 times by punks, you become sensitive to certain types of people they use. Okay? And when these punks then walk into your physical proximity, whether it be on a bus stop, bus route, bus stop, anywhere, walking, riding your bike, grocery store, whatever, when they bring these type of people in, they'll make sure that you see a physical gesture or something, or some crazy thing they're doing, like specific ways of moving their arms around, which is, all you got to do is Google what I'm saying, and you'll see I'm telling you the truth, because I'm not the only target saying it. The point being is this, is that they'll also put people along your path to intentionally act crazy, and then they'll instigate a problem with you, or try to get in your face, or try to pick a fight with you, or assault you. And then if it gets really out of hand, like say, since like right now I'm wearing a tape recorder, it's really taping what I'm saying right now. A tape recorder runs by date and time. This type of tape recorder has also got microcards, which means I can add memory to the tape recorder once the internal memory gets full. The microcard goes in the side, and then once that memory gets full, I take it out, put a new one in. Since this tape recorder runs by date and time, if I'm at this location and I say I'm going to the law library today, or I'm going to the laundromat today, let's see if I get assaulted on my way there, while I'm there, or on my way back, or here. And then it happens, okay, it'll get caught on audio file. If I make an email prediction and send the email to myself, the email will isolate the date and time the prediction was made, just like with the MTS assault. Now, when these things continue to happen over and over and over again, on top of all the different types of evidence I got, the audio files, the video files, the email files, the tweets of things that have come true after I predicted it, it will show anybody with any common sense that I'm in your face being gang stalked. And then you can ask yourself, if you feel inclined to do so, why won't the San Diego police make a police report that I am factually being gang stalked? Why won't they investigate it so this crime can stop happening towards me, so I can rent an apartment again, not have to worry about losing it because of gang stalking, and live my life? Because that's not what they want. Right now, the crime is being allowed to continue towards me because they're buying wiggle room. And what do I mean by that? Go to Google right now and type in gang stalking, illegal syndicated probate control. Hold on. If you go to Google right now and type in what I told you to type in concerning this Hartford Courant post, you're going to see another woman by the name of Nancy Pittman. She was gang stalked inside the same exact Connecticut homeless shelter that I was gang stalked in when I was in Connecticut. And they went after her and took custody of her house once her last parent died and had her gang stalked all over the country. The probate attorney that her parents hired waited until her parents died, the last one, and then took syndicated probate control of the house, sold it to one of his friends, and now she's being gang stalked so that they can get a hold of her child who's disabled. Now, they're targeting the disabled like you would not believe. This is organized crime in the system in every state, city, and county in the United States. It's a nationwide syndicate. That's how they gang stalked me from Michigan to Connecticut to San Diego. Now, taking illegal syndicated probate control of the targeted individual by claiming they're crazy because they're homeless and won't get out of it, and they think that we'll see what they do is that they'll harass the target to death mentally every day, and then stage assaults and anything else that they can outwardly stage to make the target act out or to psychologically motivate the target to call the police, like brutal assaults. And the target is so frustrated by that. Have you ever heard of that term, the straw that broke the camel's back? Well, this is what they count on. This is part of the reason why the target individual is mentally harassed every day, all day, everywhere they go. They're never allowed to have any mental peace as a result of constantly being bombarded through their senses. And what I mean by that is constantly being subject to the sensitization methods, on top of other techniques of being made to believe that people are getting up and complaining about you at the library and you might get banned for it, and then they ban you. But first what they do is make sure that you know that the library staff has formed a mental association in your mind to the gang stalking, by making sure that you see them participating in it using the sensitization techniques. This is where the menacide comes in at. And what I mean by that is that first they'll anchor the association to make sure you know that they're actually taking part in it. And then what they'll do is they'll start propping up people to provoke you in the library or stage complaints, and then use that as normal appearing reasons to ban you. And this is done to take away the computer resource you're using to expose them, to research lawyers, to research activist groups, and to make predictions or whatever else you're doing. Okay? Because they don't want you to be able to have internet access because you're using it to expose them. You're also using it to document, tape evidence, and put it online in case this ever goes sideways for them and they can't contain it no more, police, DA, prosecutors. Then they know that that evidence is locked in space and time, and they'll have to account for why they didn't do their jobs at a later date. So it's all about making sure that the exposure stops, that the evidence exposure stops, and to make sure that you cannot communicate with the outside public about what's happened to you currently and what will once they start really going after you for the human trafficking. Now, let me get back to the illegal syndicated probate control. Basically what they're doing is making people homeless. Anybody and everybody they can do this to. They're targeting the elderly, people on disabilities. 70% of targets are single women. Okay, human trafficking. Okay, insurance fraud, identity theft. You would not believe what I know. You just would not believe it. You just would not believe it. And if you don't think that they cannot human traffic anybody, a child, even a young male, and a woman, okay, in a group home that they own and place you in, which I'll tell you how they do that in a second, think again. They're called date break drugs. Put in people's foods, drinks, and or I'll get to the third one in a second if I remember to. Just hear me out. Now, the homelessness is created, and then the gang stalking is obviously already occurring because the gang stalking created the homelessness. So it's occurring before the homelessness is created, and then it's kept going after the homelessness is created. This is done so then when the staged events happen and either they call the police pretending to be that, like if they stage an event or assault or whatever, they'll even stage the witnesses, and everybody will point, including using the business community, Google that, to gang stalking, like grocery stores, restaurants, movie theaters, banks, post offices, anywhere, transportation services, public. They'll use anybody and everybody because the persons who are managing this are in this system at the federal, state, and local level. It's a syndicate. And they have tentacles out within the community in white and blue collar employment descriptions. Utility company personnel, construction workers, librarians, security guards of any place you can think of, literally, security firms, okay? doctors, lawyers, judges, nurses, psychiatrists, psychologists. It's a syndicate. Okay? And the travel industry definitely included. You would not believe how many times I've been gaslighted by MTS bus drivers. And they'll lie about it and call me crazy concerning it, and calling a target crazy is a method of gang stalking. Now let me help you understand something. In order to get the syndicated probate control, they have to claim that you're mentally ill and that you can't take care of yourself, and or that you're a threat to yourself or others, or a combination of all three. Let me just get a cigarette here. Okay? Because they have to make it appear on paper that that the probate control they're petitioning the state for is being done for legitimate purposes. Hold on, I got a cough. I got a bad cold, and I got a it's starting to finally break up. Hold on. Let me also check the batteries for a second here. Now, they got to also make sure that this illegal syndicated probate control appears legal on paper. Okay? So basically what they do is they make whoever they target, whether it be an elderly person, an adult with a disabled son or daughter, whether that son or daughter be a child or an adult disabled person. Because people on disability, or people that are or Social Security, like retired people or people with pensions, are prime targets of these individuals, because these are fixed incomes that they can rely on and see. Because when they take the probate control, they become the executor of that person's finances. Do you understand? Racketeering. Now, if the target is not on disability, what they'll do throughout the entire campaign, which they'll even stretch out for years at a time, literally, okay, literally, you can Google this. I've literally read targets' blogs where they've been victims of this crime for 20 years. Literally, just Google it. The point being is this, is that what they'll do, it all depends on if it's a man that they feel they can't human traffic, they'll still go after him, because when he's continually being assaulted and then broken down mentally, he's gonna occasionally collapse and maybe call 911. Insurance fraud. Do you understand? They're involved in any and every kind of crime that you can think of. Insurance fraud. Doctors, nurses, psychiatrists. Do you understand? They will do anything and everything, including even taking out a life insurance policy on a target and setting them up to be murdered. Through normal appearing reasons and mishaps, bike accidents. Whether, like, say if I'm taking a bike off a bus and somebody collides in the back of a bus and I get run over. If I'm walking or riding my bike down the street and somebody supposedly has a seizure or is drunk and hits me. Do you see how this shit plays out? You can go to Google right now and type in a gang stalking tech. I'll get back to the probate control in a second. You can go to Google right now and type in a gang stalking tech. Excuse me. Everything you need to know. That is the description. By typing that in, you can find a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know. You can find a manifesto that was literally written by a manager of gang stalking crews. And it has been researched by extremely educated and seasoned target individuals and independent journalists who investigate gang stalking. And we're all saying the same thing, that it is an actual factual manifesto of a manager of gang stalking crews, but it is not everything you need to know. So you'll find it within 15 minutes after you type that in at Google. Okay, because the link is put in a lot of targets' blogs, and it still should be put on the original forum that it was posted on. The point being is that in this manifesto, it literally flat out states that they ran over this, I think it was a Filipino guy, and then they used some bullshit excuse that there was too much snow on the ground at the area where he got run over at. Okay, you'll see how the syndicate is sectioned into different bureaus. Okay, the Bureau of Travel, the Bureau of Technology, the Scripting and Observation Bureau, Scripting, Observation, and Execution Bureau. That's the part of the syndicate that orchestrates all the harassment and staged events, including staged arrest of the target. That's right. It's a syndicate. So, fellow American citizens, fellow San Diegans, I'm homeless because of them. They literally stole my mail out of the mail, United States Postal Service, certified mail return receipt. I was gang stalked night and day at my last apartment complex, harassed in every way that you can think of. My food was poisoned. I became deathly ill for 5 days. I couldn't even move. I had to sleep on the floor 2 feet away from the bathroom just so I could get up and throw up, and had diarrhea because of it. And I know it was them. In fact, you can go to YouTube right now and type in stalked in San Antonio, and you'll see 2 women being covered on the news showing that their homes were entered. They were raped in their own homes as a result of their food being drugged. And one woman talks about how arsenic was found in their water supply. Absolutely. Make no mistake about it. Okay? These are the worst of the worst. Of the worst. Any employment description you can think of, they can influence or bring into the syndicate, and then use them when they're needed. Hold on. Alright. So the syndicated probate control is basically where these little filthy animals are going in and they're buying houses at very cheap rates, probably a lot of them from the mortgage crisis of 2008. And then what they're doing is going hunting after people that got fixed incomes and or people that can have benefits applied for in their name once they get the syndicated probate control, federal, state, and local funds, and insurance. And then when the person is placed in these homes, the gang stalking continues. So the insurance can be built, and so the human trafficking can take place, and the voyeurism that's attached to it. And so the person can be treated like a number for federal, state, and local funds. And I'm even going to go as far as telling you the truth about this. And you can Google it right now as I stated. Just do it and you'll see I'm telling you the truth, as crazy as it sounds. Are you ready? Go to Google and type in non-consensual human experimentation in gang stalking. Money off of every angle. Because when they select a target individual to be a target, see, one target can be picked for 7 different crimes, 10 different crimes, as long as they're making money off of each different one. Identity theft, insurance fraud, human trafficking, federal, state, and local funds, non-consensual human experimentation. Because the human experimentation, the doctors and nurse administrative staff, they sell the research to multiple different research groups, and you wouldn't believe the thousands of dollars that are generated from that. Yeah, guinea pigs. Now, fellow American citizens, torture is all over the internet to be, you can go to Google and type in gang stalking and torture. Do you really honestly think for 1 second that is the Jesse Ventura Brain Invader show that you can watch at YouTube? Why are those people in that show called targeted individuals? You can go to Google, and Lisa Becker is in the show. She's all over the internet, and she's been on Coast to Coast AM radio show. I've been on the Ground Zero Clyde Lewis show, talking about being a gang stalking victim. Lisa Becker is all over the internet exposing how she's being gang stalked. The point being, fellow American citizens, is this. There can be no way, through logic and probabilities and statistical analysis, that people who do, thousands of us all over the internet begging for help, okay, could be describing how we're being gang stalked and harassed, how we're made homeless, how our credit is wrecked, how intentionally, how they target our finances, which is what they're doing to me right now. They're targeting my Social Security because they can take me off Social Security, wait until I'm completely destitute, then forced to run to places that they can influence from behind the scenes, like the San Diego Homeless Rescue Mission. They're involved in the gang stalking of me. I have literally caught individuals who are gaslighting me and gang stalking me out and about in the community, holding up signs, begging for change. And then guess what it said on the back of those signs? San Diego Homeless Rescue Mission. Absolutely. Absolutely. When this syndicate developed these campaigns and these techniques in order to benefit on the end result, which is the criminal motivation, do you honestly think that they did not have the foresight to say, okay, well, we're going to make him homeless, we're going to make her homeless, and they also target single mothers? So do you honestly think that they don't know that a mother's going to try and do everything humanly possible to keep her child and to get out from underneath the homelessness that was covertly created for them, whether they're aware that the homelessness was created because of gang stalking or not? Absolutely. So their thinking is, we got to make sure that we can influence the places that a target will run to. Churches, charities, homeless shelters, lawyers, judges, doctors, self-help groups. Google these descriptions and cross-reference on the gang stalking. Now, the assistants in reference to even when a place that has never been involved in gang stalking, when a target might run to them, they're going to be notified and they're going to be told lies about the target in order to intimidate the people to not help them and to influence them to not help them, or both. Now you can go to YouTube and type in "listen to a stranger" in order to get a preliminary visual representation concerning how easy it is to get anybody to do anything for a person with a badge, and then combine that knowledge you ascertained from that video, from the entire video, to go to Google and type in gang stalking creating fake bogus criminal investigation files. Now when you combine either a real or fake badge with a fake bogus criminal investigation file, literal paperwork, okay, along with extremely sophisticated lies and slander, do you really honestly think that people that are just going about their day, or businesses that are just doing business and trying to get, do what they got to do without, do you really think if a member, like say a syndicate member in the FBI, or a lieutenant or a captain at a police station, if he calls up a business and say, this guy, he's a known, any type of social deviant you can think of, so we want you to do this towards them, or cooperate with us concerning what we're going to do towards them, to give them a message that they're not welcome in the community when a staged event, to ban them. When the actual method is to run the target down, so the target, like say if they do it at a grocery store, they know the target's going to that grocery store to get their food needs met. Well, if they can't go to that grocery store no more, that means they're going to have to maybe go 5-10 miles out of their way concerning where they're living at, especially if they're homeless. Now, if they're homeless and don't have a car because they staged vehicle accidents, which is all over the internet as well, then see, anything and every little thing that they do adds extreme stress and duress for the target, either and or mental, physical, and financial. That's right. Just think about this. If you're homeless and you're already 3 miles away from a grocery store, and then you go to that grocery store and you're banned, where's the next grocery store? Another 2 miles away. That not only affects your schedule every time you got to go to a grocery store, but it also affects you physically because of how much now you got to carry more when you go there each time, so it'll last longer. This assists in the mental and physical exhaustion, because even while you're going to there, you'll be gang stalked, even to the next one. So when you go to Google and you type in work mobbing and gang stalking, or work mobbing in businesses, any type of business, any type of place, libraries, universities, hold on. If you were to type in work mobbing and gang stalking, or work mobbing in businesses, work mobbing is another term for gang stalking when it's happening towards a fellow employee by their employer, okay? It's gang stalking at work is basically what it is. Except at work they call it work mobbing. It's gang stalking. The same crime just goes by a different name. Just like gang stalking can also be called organized stalking. So the point being is that if gang stalking is already happening in businesses, of any business you can think of, any business, okay, post office, bank, movie theater, restaurant, if it's already happening in these aforementioned places, do you honestly think that they're not going to participate in what they're told to do when a gang stalking target walks into that establishment towards them? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, as far as the syndicated probate control, see, they create the homelessness, and then in order for them to try to take the probate control, they have to, over time, between a 1 and 3, 4, 5, 6 year time period, they keep the homelessness managed. Hold on a second. Let me give you an illustration of this, and I'm going to have to start talking fast because I only got 7 minutes left. Go to Google right now and type in Erica Dean Gilmore, California target gang stalking, and look for her PDF link. Just look for it, you'll find it eventually. Now, let me take a puff off this cigarette here. I want you to think about this real smart. Now, I've already talked to you about how once they get a hold of the target, woman, she had a child, a single mother, she had a child, they could have put her in syndicated foster care, same thing just like the group homes, and made money off the child, federal, state, and local funds, insurance fraud, and maybe even child pornography. Now, those three criminal motivations right there would have made them tons of money over time, especially if they were able to keep the child for a decade or more, which they do. Now, they tried to get her involved in prostitution after they made her homeless. But how did they make her homeless? Well, I brought up about the money that they can make off her child and her already just now. let's take a look at how they created the homelessness, and then we'll do a cost-benefit analysis for you to see the lengths they'll go to, because for them, the cost to make her homeless would have been made up for as a result of the benefit that they would have made as a result of making her homeless. Hold on. With Erica Dean Gilmore, she had an apartment. I think she had a daughter. Yeah, it was a daughter, which is even worse for child pornography. Well, I don't think it's worse, but I mean, it seems that girls are probably being exploited more than boys are. It's a shame for both, trust me. But anyways, what they did with her and her child, her little girl, had an apartment. And so what they did with her was they flooded out the ceiling of her bathroom through the apartment that was above. And then when she started complaining about it, the landlord ignored her. Then they got a city inspector, a government job, gang stalking, organized crime in the system. They got a city inspector to deem the apartment uninhabitable as a result of the ceiling rotting out, when they could have easily fixed it in one day. When you look at any low-income apartment complex, especially like Section 8 or whatever else, you're gonna realize that the bathroom is probably no more than 8 by 10 feet, maybe 8 by 7 feet, 8 by 9 feet. Okay, when you look at a ceiling, what's really used to create a floor, okay, you're looking at some 2x4s, maybe 5 or 6, 7, 8, whatever, and only a certain length, okay, and then maybe some plywood, some panel, okay, and then any electrical work that's got to get done, he's probably going to take care of it anyways through a handyman that's already dedicated to the apartment, through the business owner of that complex. So let's look at the cost of this. You can go to Home Depot right now and look at the cost of maybe 2 or 3 2x4s, some plywood, and maybe a little bit of modification to the electrical work if it got damaged. Now, when you look at the cost of that, probably no more than maybe 60 bucks. If you know how to shop, and if you got a handyman doing the work who's already on the payroll, okay? Or one of their handymen, a syndicate handyman. Go to Google and type in construction workers and handyman. Construction workers and gang stalking. Handymen and gang stalking. You understand? So, and they can pay him off for the work with anything, including a woman they already got involved in human trafficking. So they don't lose nothing. The point being is that the cost for them to fix that ceiling, to make it appear that the city inspector had a legal appearing reason to deem the apartment uninhabitable, and she gets evicted as a result, is nothing compared to the cost that they knew that they would eventually make off of her and her child. It's an investment. Go to Google and type in city inspectors and gang stalking. Landlords and property owners and gang stalking. Running apartments above, below, or next to a target and gang stalking. Illegal syndicated foster care and gang stalking. Illegal syndicated group homes and gang stalking. Okay, so they create the homelessness of single women, of anybody that they want to get the syndicated probate control of. And then they continue the gang stalking. Periodic assaults that psychologically motivate the target to call the police, or one of their stage witnesses will. Police come out, they say, what's going on? Why don't you tell me what this is all about? Why don't you tell me what's happening? You say, well, this is happening because I'm being gang stalked. What's gang stalking? I don't understand. Tell me what's going on. You start explaining it to them, and they say, well, that sounds crazy. Are you crazy? And then if they don't arrest you or put you in the county mental health, which they use the incident reports, the police reports, and the county mental health reports to get the syndicated probate control, they'll at least walk away with a falsified incident report or police report about the situation that's discrediting of the target. And then they'll repeat this shit over time, and then eventually come after you using all this documentation to get the syndicated probate control for the exploitation. Racketeering, insurance fraud, and human trafficking in a syndicated run group home. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, in closing, let me see how many minutes I got left here. Oh. Alright, I'm already looking at the red. My name is Leslie Williams. Make sure you look at all YouTube videos on this channel. Today's date is